coming from the top.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone who is here with us physically, those that are joining us in our online community to join as one, those who are here in our congregation, our kahal. Turn to the white cameras in the back, say hello, wave, give hello, Shabbat Shalom to those who are joining us. And all of you, say Shabbat Shalom to someone near you, around you, behind you, in front of you, in these moments right now. For those online, have the opportunity to share in the chat. This is Shabbat that is very much needed. It feels like a very heavy week. It's a heavy week around us. It's a heavy week in Israel. It's a heavy week in our communities. And Shabbat has come at the right time. Shabbat is always at the right time. Always. It grounds us. It helps us be in the zone. My wonderful colleagues, Rabbi Bernstein, Rabbi Gimbel, are on much-deserved time off out of this country, and we will see them back in a few weeks. And we are excited that we are here with our amazing musicians, as always, with Becca Myers, Jeff Myers, Buddy Voigt, and Jeff Shell as well, always keeping us, our text, always keeping us connected and as one community. So we welcome all of you. This is in this moment, I know that we have some visitors who are with us this evening who are all the way from Israel, 10,000 miles away. They're here joining us, and from our sister community of Sha'ar Negev, which I am blessed to visit in less than 4 weeks. We're coming, so we're there. I'll be there. So Lior, Martin, Amos, Gili, Karen, Roni, and Sharon, welcome. Welcome to all of you. Shabbat Shalom. And because you are here in our community, we would like to give you the honor in this moment of lighting our Shabbat candles. So if you would come up to the bima and have the opportunity to light our Shabbat candles. How wonderful it is as we dwell together, brothers and sisters. Join us, page 10 in your prayer books. Hine ma tov. Join us, Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov, u'manayim she'berachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, u'manayim she'berachim gam yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad.
As we turn to page 14 in our prayer books and on your screens, those of us joining us online as well in our sanctuary, you'll see, if you're new to our sanctuary, you will see some of our prayers on the screen as well. We begin receiving Kabbalat Shabbat. We need a moment, we need a pause before we're ready to formalize our prayer. And that comes in the moment of Kabbalat Shabbat, the face of Shabbat, we're receiving it, we're breathing it in. So I'm going to invite you to breathe for a moment. Take a moment. Focus on your breath. The music transcends, but the breath gives us pause. And so, Kabbalat Shabbat, we enter into the intention of our time together. Page 14, as we join together for Shir Chadash, we sing together. Join us, Shir Ladonai. Join together, we turn in our prayer books, page 332, with Yedid Nefesh.
Hallelujah.
Page 20, we turn back. Come, my beloved, as we greet the Sabbath bride, we join together. Join us, L'chadodi. Standing as we prepare ourselves, as we face east towards Yerushalayim, we take a moment in pause and in breath, preparing the words of Baruch Hu, page 146, as we join together. As we remain standing, joining together in our prayer books, page 148, we read responsively, or on your screens, Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Haravim. In every age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world. In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth. In each age we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age the children of Torah become builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. join together in the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecham hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtaha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מיתותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני Adonai Elohechem, asher הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohim emet. We've created the foundation. We've thanked God for creation. God's revealed God's self to us through the Shema. And then we enter into this moment. And this moment is the Yetziat Mitzrayim. A month ago, we were sitting around Seder tables and we were acknowledging that cost of freedom. We're watching in our world as a country, a democratic nation, is struggling under war, under seamless violence and authoritarianism. This does not end with the Jewish people. So when we think about and sing the Michamocha, this is about the depths of what our communities and what we hope and pray for. That everybody can get out of the Mitzrayim, out of the narrowness, and into the expansiveness, into the moments when we can transcend the pain. Do our part, do our footwork in order to get there. Whether it's spiritually, whether it's internal or external. There's a lot competing for our time and our sacred spiritual capital. This is the moment where we think through that. And I invite you to join us, page 152, as we sing together, Michamocha.
Elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru. Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim, u'feros aleinu sukat shelomecha, v'taknenu beit zaton Shemecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Shomeinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Shomeinu Lechayim Ushmot Tzedkenu Bovoenu Lechaim Ushalom Ve'ata ve'ad Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Shomereinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Shomereinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamidenu Shomereinu Lechayim V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת
הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש
So we turn to page 155 in our prayer books, a moment where we enter into that central piece of our service known as the Amidah, our Tefillah section. We rise in a moment, if we're able, to face east once again with the gratitudes and the prayers, the requests that we have in our hearts. So we join together, page 155. Adonai Sivatai Tivach Fi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yadalai, lai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai, lai. I invite you to use the meditations, the rhythms of the word, of the prayer book pages, or those deep in your heart. And when you're finished with your silent prayer, you may be seated.
Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom
Shalom
Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova ורחמים חן וחסד חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים שים שלום שים שלום טובה וברכה שים שלום טובה וברכה עלינו ועל כל ישראל עלינו ועל כל ישראל עליך שים שלום שים שלום טובה וברכה שים שלום טובה וברכה
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Oh, that was much better. Thank you. So, on the second Friday of every month, usually we have our youth choir, our teen choir, because we're a little short in our leaders of our youth choir. We had some of them last week during our amazing Adult B'nai Mitzvah. They'll be back again with us next month. But here we have the opportunity to always share in blessing. And what are we blessing in this moment? We're blessing the opportunity to celebrate your birthday. And so what does that mean? However young or young at heart you are, if your birthday is in this month, the month of May, we invite you to come forward at this time because we want to honor you and celebrate you. So Rabbi Gimbel doubted me that I could find the pens. Guess what? Refills. We're good. So in our tradition, here at Beth Israel, we share our name, and you are welcome to share how old you are or are turning this month, because age is just a number, but we celebrate your tenure and you're here with us today. So share.
Jeanette Stone. I'll be 59 on Monday.
Mazel tov. All right.
My name is Maddie Williams. I turned 25 on Wednesday.
Mazel tov. Yay. You got a pen.
Robin Sassy. I turned 51 on Monday.
Beautiful. Mazel tov. Hi.
I'm Rachel Welland. I'm turning 42 tomorrow, but I feel most days like I'm 32.
Right. All right.
I'm Dennis Jasper. I'll be 70 on the 23rd.
Beautiful. Here you go. Keep on. Excellent. Thank you.
I'm Audrey, and I'll be 26 on the 29th.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Socks older than I'm Marty Stern. I turned 72 this week.
God bless. Okay. Happy birthday. So whenever we reach a new moment in our tradition, we get to say the words of Shechianu. So we've reached this time. I invite you to join along as we sing to this incredible crew. We join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
And a Yom Huledet Sameach, and we join together and we sing Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. And as we give it up to you, Ad 120 to 120 you shall be. Being with us, blessing us, holding us as you get older and the younger generations that follow. Mazel tov to all of you. Mazel tov. We take a moment for pause, we celebrate joy, and we also take a moment to reflect on those in our community who are in need of refuah shlema, refuah hanefesh, refuah haguf, a recovery of mind, of body, of spirit. So many in our community whose names we hold at this time, whose presence we know is felt with us at this moment as we recall them now. Nicole Hadian, Ari Zalman Leib, Ben Shoshana Moshe, Bob Berenson, Dina Leah Bat Zohara, Lauren Berman, Pam Carnot, Grayson DeNovo, Samantha Forish, Dr. Robert Fox, Denise Garrick, Nancy Gordon, Elliot Goldstein, Robert Gruder, Alan Habenstock, Scott Hilberg, Ellen Hutt, Beth Johnson, Ruthie Jordan, Richard Kitson, Marshall J. Lewis, Nahama Bat Rafael, Claudia Liebenson, Maria Loro, Michal Liran Bat Yael, Jim McIndoe, Yoram Minas, Alla Naidenova, Lynn Richard, Sharon Ritter, Galina Robalchenko, Jenny Schnitzer, Rhonda Schwartz, Alana Schaefer, Bernard Stein, Seth Streichler, Lynn Slotkin, Bob Shearer, Cindy Spector, Gerald Trimble, David Tossman, Fred Valfer, Kathy Weil, John Weil, George Weiss, and Todd Villa. If there's a name you'd like to add in this moment, as my eyes meet yours, I invite you to share names so that all of us in this community can hold them collectively in our hearts. In our online community, I invite you to write the names in our chat.
Roberta Lahan and Rebecca Lahan.
Holding their presence, we join together in a prayer of healing, a prayer of Misha Berach. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Over the past few weeks, I've been thinking about my grandmother Sylvia, Zichrona Livracha, who came to this country as an immigrant and grew up here in the United States before women even had the right to vote. A generation later, I reflect on my mother, June, Zichrona Livracha, her journey, fighting for the ERA and spending many years donating to Planned Parenthood and causes related to reproductive rights. A generation later, I find myself in awe and impassioned by their legacies, and at the same time pained by the backward steps taken to rescind the brave and revolutionary work of them and countless others. For the past few weeks, our Friday evening services have been filled with incredible, beautiful celebrations of community. Our Intro to Judaism and our adult B'nai Mitzvah students have taught, they have led, and they have inspired us. Their journey into Jewish life and learning encapsulates a tapestry of history, ritual, ethics, and contemporary issues. The clergy took a pause these last few weeks at our Shabbat services to allow space to honor these experiences and to immerse ourselves in their teaching. And on this Shabbat, I want to honor the work of my grandmother, the work of my mother, and the countless others who spent time and energy dedicated to ensuring that our religious freedoms are sacrosanct and that the trust in women's autonomy over their own bodies be honored. Tonight I share with you the wisdom of our tradition and the Torah of reproductive freedom. The core text in our Jewish tradition as to the question on reproductive rights comes from Exodus 21, verses 22 to 25, and I quote when we learn the following: "When two or more parties fight, and one of them pushes a pregnant woman and a miscarriage results, but no other damage ensues, the one responsible shall be fined according as the woman's husband may exact. The payment to be based on reckoning. But if other damage ensues, the penalty shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. For almost 2,000 years, our tradition has concluded from this text, along with mounds of subsequent commentary, that fetal life is not equivalent to human life outside of the womb. Hence, our tradition permits abortion and even requires it in order to preserve the life and health of the mother, which can also include significant threats to a mother's psychological and emotional well-being. Two important clarifying understandings come from this passage. The first, our tradition does not equate abortion with murder. Full stop. The second, our tradition does not equate fetal life with human life outside of the womb. Full stop. Our tradition has never, ever been cavalier about our bodies, and in this instance, it keeps its focus on the life, the health, and the agency of the mother. Too often, discussions around abortion see only the ultrasound and fail to see the living, breathing woman having to make this difficult decision. In response, our reform movement has been at the forefront in support of women's reproductive right for decades. The National Federation of Temple Sisterhoods, now known as the Women of Reform Judaism, passed a resolution on sexuality education and contraception, are you ready? In 1935. And in 1965, they passed another one on reproductive rights, the first of our movement. Ever since, our Reformed Jewish movement has stood as a champion for both religious freedom and the trust in a woman's choice to make that decision. That trust extends to a recognition that restrictions to reproductive rights disproportionately impact low-income individuals and people of color in particular. In this vein, the Jewish mandate for reproductive rights and reproductive choice is not simply a woman's justice issue, it is a human justice issue. Over the years, my colleagues and I of different genders have consoled victims of sexual assault forced to carry a child. We have counseled when an employer denies birth control coverage, even when millions of women rely on birth control pills for reasons having nothing to do with preventing pregnancy. We have stood as witness when deliberate, debilitating obstacles prevent a woman from receiving routine and medically necessary reproductive health care procedures. And we also lend support when others have been stripped of the ability to make a personal medical decision because a far-off politician had already decided it for them. Within our tradition, some of our most historic battles for women's rights were achieved as a result of strategic allied partnerships. And one of the earliest examples occurs in the book of Deuteronomy. The 5 daughters of Zelophehad advocate for their right as women to claim their deceased father's property. Their lawful inheritance of the land would solve an apparent loophole in Israelite land ownership. When a father with no male heir passes, to whom does this land belong? The 5 daughters justifiably argued to Moses that the land should belong to them. And because Moses viewed their plight as a critical human issue and not as something trivial, he immediately took the matter up with God. Soon after, the first law granting women the right to own land was established. Notably, the daughters recognized that they could not go at it alone. They needed Moses and his power, his privilege, and his position as a male leader in their society. I realize I stand in front of you tonight on this Shabbat evening as a cisgender male rabbi. In our ongoing struggle for reproductive rights, we need my voice and many others to step across gender lines. Particularly, we need more instances of male leaders using their power, their privilege, their positions, and yes, their pulpits to create sacred, safe spaces for the voices of women or other marginalized individuals to be heard. This partnership is crucial not just because people of all genders need access to reproductive health care, but also because that access is not currently equal, and we have a Jewish mandate to act. On this Shabbat, one that precedes a march on Washington for the Jewish rally for abortion justice this coming Monday, we hear a clarion call to remain laser-focused on how the wisdom of our tradition guides our steps in our response to what we call kavod habriot, the respect for individual dignity. This same sanctity underscores the vital need for medically accurate sexuality education, for affordable family planning services, and high-quality maternal and women's health care. We should set our sights on our right to freedom or faith that has seemingly been degraded into a political soccer ball. In our Beth Israel community, we must continue the sacred work of those that came before us, to build and cultivate loving spaces that celebrate all parts of one's life cycle, all journeys of struggle to the journeys of joy. And we are committed to doing so, and hope that you will add your voice and gifts of heart and advocacy in the days, weeks, and months that are ahead of us. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will, as together we say, Amen. This time that we're living in is this journey. We're on a journey. We're on a pilgrimage. We're in the time where we're counting the Omer. The Omer is a moment. Every day has an intention. Every day has the opportunity to transcend into the time where we get to Matan Torah, the giving of Torah at Shavuot. So when we go from Pesach on that journey, we're counting 49 days, and we get there. And when we're here gathered in our sanctuary, as we are on this Shabbat, we have the opportunity to join in blessing. So I would like us all on the screens and on your screens at home to join in the words of counting our obligation to fulfill the Omer, of counting the Omer. We say, Hineni muchan uzuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat ha'omer. And we say together, I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. As we say the blessing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom shmona ve'esrim yom, shehem arba'a shavuot la'omer. Today is 28 days, which is 4 weeks of the Omer. And we say, Amen. This time I'd like to call upon not only one of our wonderful musicians and Chai Band members, but did you know he also disguises himself as a board member also? I'd like to call upon Buddy Voigt.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
So he told you I'm a board member. My name is Buddy. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the service this evening. Wow, that got loud. I want to thank the Men's Club for ushering tonight. Mazel tov to Kai Steinberg and his parents Sharona and Gilad and his brother Gal. Kai will be celebrating his bar mitzvah tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. as part of the lay minyan service held right next door in the chapel. I'd also like to welcome again our special group of visitors from Sha'ar Negev. It's such a wonderful place, and I'm grateful for the relationship that has grown and flourished over the years. For me, the connection began with my daughter Emma on her Beth Israel Platt trip back in 2014, where her class traveled and stayed with teens from Sha'ar Negev. It continued with my visits there, traveling through the district, visiting the school, meeting with teachers and students, and having one of the most delicious lunches at Hummus Shel Techina. You take everybody there, right? In Sderot. And incidentally, my daughter Emma is going to be in Sderot in 9 days, leading a birthright trip, so we get to go there a lot. And finally, as executive director of Camp Mountain High, where campers, staff, and Shinshinim from Sha'ar Negev have joined us for over 10 summers, creating bonds of friendship with our campers and a love for Israel that will last a lifetime. Eliana, you're going to get to go on that trip someday. I hope you all take the opportunity to visit Sha'ar Negev on the community trip to Israel just over a year from now. If you haven't already signed up for the trip with Rabbi, you're taking one soon, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to remind you that anything you need to know about Beth Israel and upcoming events is on our website at cbisd.org. And Dan would admonish me if I didn't say remember to validate your parking if you parked in the parking garage.
And he's watching, I believe, so I'm glad you said it. It's very nice. Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful. And Buddy mentioned that we have a number of trips going to Israel. We've had 2+ years of vacancy around our connections to actually being physically in the land of Israel. So we look forward to being with you in a few weeks with many of our seniors for our Plat trip. Then again in October with a congregational trip with some of us that are here are going to be on. And then again for celebrating Israel's 75th anniversary, modern state of Israel. Again, we will see our friends in Sha'ar Negev. So, well, you'll see a lot of us. I hope you don't get too tired of us. We're going to be with you. We're going to be with you. So we begin to conclude our service this evening as we join together on page 282, saying the words of Aleinu. I invite you to rise if you're able. Again, as we face eastward, we join together. Aleinu l'shavbeach l'adon hakol,
Latent gdula v'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kirei haratzot, v'lo samanu kimishpehot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahen, v'gor aleinu kehohamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
Will you please be seated? So we take a moment to reflect on those who we've loved and lost, those who are no longer currently physically with us, those who certainly live in our hearts and in our memories. A time when we think about recent passings, we think about, and our condolences go out to Dolores Dickstein, the family of Dolores Dickstein, the family of Harriet Dixon. And if I share the name of a loved one, I invite you to rise in your place so that we may acknowledge you and your presence here tonight. In the Shloshim, in these 30 days past burial, we recall Gertrude Greenwald, Harry Leitner, and Michael Sitzer. And in this week, our congregational community recalls the yard sites of Eli Abulafia, Edward Adelson, Blanche Ash, Sidney Baba, Abe Bain, Rose Kislin Baroff, Cecily Beitcher, Harold Berrick, Morris Bernstein, Charles Noah Bayer, Label Bronstein, Helen Katz Brothman, Doris Kahn, Hannah Coleman, Mervyn Cooper, Burton Disner, Zui Fire, Paula Fiddler, Jeanette Fink, Antonio Fiore, Sigrid Fisher, James Friedman, Irving Friedman, Herman Friedman, Hyman Glasser, Maury Glazer, Arthur Goldfarb, Bertha Goldhire, Morris Goldstein, Charlie Goldstein, Max Camel, Ben Kaufman, Ella Baum-King, Bessie Klinger, Philip Kluger, Hyman Kobernick, Lenora Leholt, Abe Levitow, Maurice Levy, Will Lichtenstein, Harry Mankoff, Wilma Martin, Lily Matzner, David Miller, Norman Milstein, Celia Nelson, Fanny Olgolnik, Betty Pessin, Jules Pincus, Mitchell Plant, Susan Rosenblatt Polson, Jacob Shmuel Rosenberg, May Ruttenberg, Sandra Satz, Sylvia Schaffer, Edith Scher, Simon Schultz, Martha Lou Sebastian, Tamar Sherman, Alexander Edward Silverman, Betty Slayan, Ryan Wayne Smith, Ray Spivak, Melody Steinberg, Lauren Sternfield, Ben Stiegler, Hans Thalheimer, Morris Waxenberg, and Lionel Weinstein. There's a name that you'd like to add to those that have been shared. I invite you to rise in your place at this time so we may hold their names in our hearts as well. We rise together as a community. Recite the words of Kaddish Tom. Yitzgadal v'yitkadash meraba be'elma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'yomechon u'v'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael b'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen Yehei shmer rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitvomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kodesha b'richu Le'elam mikol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'mrumav u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Zichronam levracha, may their memories ever continue to inspire and be for blessing as we say together, Amen. I invite you to put your prayer books down. As you are comfortable, place your hand around the shoulders of someone perhaps you came in with this evening or have reconnected with in this moment, a time so desperately needed. Oseh shalom b'mromav, the words that remind us and ask of God to bring peace to ourselves, our community, and the world at large. And so we join together singing Oseh shalom.
Shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen.
Turn to someone around you, behind you, in front of you, say Shabbat Shalom, welcome them. Give them a Shabbat greeting as we join together and we sing the Motzi together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, poteach on. Shabbat Shalom.